Well, there it is, folks. If you were ever wondering what a Sacagawea looked like uncirculated from the San Francisco Mint from 2002, you know what it looks like now. And let's just take a moment just to look at it. This is one of the most beautiful coins I've ever seen, one of the most beautiful finishes you'll ever see, and just an incredible engraving by Glenna Goodacre. And let's just start with that, just because it's so incredible. Let's just start with Glenna Goodacre's initials down here. You see it's kind of a stylized G followed by a G. This coin first came out in the year 2000. And so we are in, when we get to 2002, we are in the third year of the Sacagawea $1 coin. We see up here it says 2000S, and that's for the San Francisco Mint. You see Sacagawea here, but guess who this is? This is Jean-Baptiste, her son. And behind her is In God We Trust, and above her it says Liberty. And this coin looks like gold when you look at it, or maybe platinum even. Sometimes you get some kind of feel of platinum from it. But what it actually is a manganese brass clad copper. So in the very center of the coin is a manganese brass core, and you can kind of see a little bit, a copper manganese brass cover on a copper coin. I was going to say is you can kind of see the copper in there, that kind of reddish. That's the copper inside, and then this outside gold-looking stuff is a manganese brass cladding, just like you'd have a cladding on a quarter. They have cladding on this. You notice it had a smooth rim, and many of you know when you get to the older or newer, I guess you could call it, Sacagawea coins, they don't have a smooth rim. In fact, we'll look at one of them here. And this is one that just is general circulation one. And what happened is they moved to a rim that was essentially had incused writing on it. Look at this. It's right inside the rim. You can see. And that's where the date's going to be on some of these later ones. So let's see if we can find this one. 2006. And I know it's hard to see, but there's a D there. And then there's a 2006. So this is a 2006. And you'll see, this is the woodworker, the famous ironworker, famous Mohawk ironworker reverse. But so they moved at some point to these incused rims, but when they first came out, they didn't have the incused rim. It was all smooth. Let's flip it over and take a good look at the back of it. Oh my gracious. So when we look at the back of it, we see that this is not a Glenna Goodacre design. This is that you see right over here. Let me weigh it up. A T and a D and an R right here. And of course, that's for the mint sculptor engraver Thomas D. Rogers Sr. What did he engrave? Well, it says United States of America at the top. We have the stars here. We have $1 here. And what I'd like to do is count the stars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are 17 stars here, and I believe that's because there were 17 states when Sacagawea started the voyage with Lewis and Clark, the Western Expedition. And Sacagawea, of course, was the translator who went with the Lewis and Clark expedition from Missouri. Well, they picked her up outside of Missouri, but she went with them to the West Coast. And here's 2002. What else do we have on here? We have this magnificent eagle, and you can see just eagle feathers and everything here. Now, this coin, you're going, why do you have a San Francisco coin? I'll tell you what. It's really, really hard to get a 2002 Sacagawea dollar unless you buy it. Why is that? Well, in 2000, they came out with the original Sacagawea dollars. And there's a 2000P. Let's see if we can find a 2000 There's another P, maybe a 2000D. Got a bunch of P's here. Yeah, these are all P's that I'm looking at now. It's a 2001. But so in the year 2000, they came out with the Sacagawea dollar, and guess how many of them they made? They made 1.3 billion. So when you make 1.3 billion of anything, they're not going to be rare. That's what I always say. But in 2001, we just showed you one of those. In 2001, they made, instead of 1.3 billion from 2000, they made 135 million. And then when they got to the year 2002, instead of 1.3 billion from the first year and 135 million from the second year, in 2002 they only made 7.5 million of these. What does that mean for collectors? Well, what that means for collectors is that they are hard to get. So they made, so that's why I don't have a D or a P, because the P's they made 3.865 million, the D's they made 3.72 million, and guess what? The S's, they made almost as many as they did the D's and the P's, 3.21 million. Well, it's much easier to buy a mint set than it is to find a 2002 Philadelphia or Denver minted coin. So they only made about 3 million. This is a great year. If you can find this one right here, the one I have, it's probably worth $6 or $7 in a proof 65. And this is going to be a proof 65 because it's not a regular issue. What does it look like when it's not a proof coin? Well, we showed you a few of them, but this is really what happens to them. They kind of get this yellowish color, and then they start to, the manganese cover starts to wear off a little bit, and you get these spots on them. So you can find one like this. It won't be quite this kind of shine, but if you can find one like this from 2002 that is a P or a D, it's going to be worth a bunch of money, because even though they made a lot of them, the MS65 versions, not a bunch, but if you get over MS65 in 2000, maybe $4 to $6. MS66, you're starting to talk into the 20s. And if you get an MS67 of this coin with a P or D on it from 2002, you're talking about hundreds of dollars. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comment section.